4. 23%. So you go, when you rank, you go 4. Because they're tied, you go 4, but that's really 5, right? Then you jump to 6. Do you see how that operates? Any questions on how you interpret that? 4, 4, 6. You do the same thing. So when they're tied, everybody's 4, but you just take those places and then you drop down. That's a ranking.
It's a golf tournament.
It's a golf tournament. Golfers know how to do that, don't we? Okay, so that's how you interpret the sheet. The rankings as well as the percentage. And you're going to be seeing this sheet. So the goal set at pets would be that second to last column on your right, and then the last column is where you, by adding that goal on, where they want to end at Governor Glade's year in July 30th, 2016. That's the goal. But you know what I say that is? Go to New York. Well, how do I get there? I don't know. Go to New York. Wait, what do you mean go to New York? So when we set a goal and we don't have a roadmap, guess what happens? Most of us never get there. We never get there. The reason we've increased membership for the last 2 years is that the district and a third of the clubs have had a roadmap. The other 2/3 are what I call wandering generalities. It's like we got a goal, but we don't know how we're going to get there. So in this next session, we're going to talk about how to get there. But before we do that, we're trying to form an E-club, and there's a value in an E-club. And the importance in an E-club is not everybody at different times in their career, they may be in transition, and E-club may fill a slot. So Brent, stand up and talk to us briefly about what you're trying to do with the E-club. First of all, tell them what an E-club is.
Electronic club, and the idea behind that is there's, as we talked already and heard already this morning, the 25s, the 35s, whatever. Okay, everybody's got one of these, right? And then this is a little computer. You've got computers too. Okay, my kids live out of town. Can I see them every week? Skype, Facebook, FaceMail, or
It's Facebook.
Facebook with the
FaceTime.
Boom. It's that simple. If I need to talk to them at an unscheduled time, I can do that too. Okay. So what we're looking at is, well, we're well on our way into it. We have a website, UtahRotaryEclub.com. It's very easy to navigate. It's very simple to understand. People can take a survey that just gives us a sense of who they are. There's a sign up. There's a club information meeting on there. There's everything you need. There's a Utah Rotary spot. There's an International Rotary spot. I mean, you can learn everything about Rotary right there. Okay, so, and I'm going to kind of do right now what we're going to do with the club. We're going to get right to the point. We're talking, we're going to have a weekly meeting. It's going to be, we're going to let the members kind of have a vote what day, what time, but we're thinking initially we want an meeting that will accommodate several areas, and it's not limited to Utah. As of right now, we have members in, that I know of, Idaho, Utah, Colorado. Sweet. When Ashton gets to New York, maybe you can sign up too. So it's not limited to that we're looking at the kids that they know computers. Do your kids sit down and do board games? They play Monopoly? No, they don't. They're playing with technology. So this is our way to play with technology, but it's going to give us this, which is just simply, it's another version of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's a plan, it's a direction. Got a couple months here. This would be the first one, absolutely the first one in Utah. I'm not sure how many surrounding states. Last time I checked, there were basically none. There are very few in the United States. And there's a guy from Bountiful Rotary Club, believe it or not, he is putting one together in India. Now that's remarkable. I can't imagine that Indians has the penetration of technology like we do. So this is a no-brainer the way Karen and I are thinking. We're just putting the word out, to catch the innovation, the new generation, and new iteration of a way to have a sustainable meeting that's time efficient. If we need to follow up, a few people need to follow up during the week. Boom, you get on the phone, you get on the computer, whatever. And then you can report at the next meeting. At the Rock Club, at Rotaract, immunization, disease prevention, education piece. It's all a roadmap to New York. If any of you would like me to visit your clubs, I would be happy to. I can give you my name. My name is Brent Scott. Anyway, I can give you my phone number and contact information later. I would be happy to do that. That's our vision. We are this close to having enough to charter the club, and we will do it. Anyway, the reason I say we will do it is this guy right here has taught me how to do things over the years. You can see his passion. He has believed, I've known him for probably 20 years, and it's been through a trade association. One time he says, well, I think you should be the next leader of this group. I'm like, I don't think so. He said, yeah, you can do it. A little while later, you should, this one's leaving, so you should take over this one. Well, at one point he says, you should be the next president. I'm serious, get out of here. I was the president. In 30 plus years of that group, I was the first two-time president ever. Because this guy taught me that I could do it. We would have fundraising, we would have education conference, we had to have golf tournaments. I don't mind saying so. He taught me, to my knowledge, the group has never had success like they had it when I was involved with him watching.
It's true. It's true. Still
and he would just tell me.
He didn't have long hair then.
No, this is a kind of a retirement thing, okay, whatever.
You look good.
But, and I'm going to tell you once upon a time, I bet it's been 20 years ago. He just mentioned to me, he said, would you be interested in making a little donation for polio immunization? So I'm saying, sure. So at one point I gave him a check in an envelope, and he called me back later when he got home and got some stuff. I know him well enough. He was in tears. He said, do you know how many people, how many children you just paid to get immunized? He knows what he's doing. We'd be happy for any questions. Again, I would be happy to visit any of your clubs. Let's put the word out. This is the next iteration of Rotary.
Did you give him your email address?
Okay, ready?
Because all of you are going to have in your clubs people that are going to say, well, it's not working out. I can't do this right now. I can't make a meeting. Don't let them leave your club without telling them, well, there's another option. There's an e-club. That's a bridge. And that keeps them involved until they can filter back into your club. And a lot of those will filter back in to the club. But if they leave immediately, you lose them.
If I talk to somebody and they're okay, but as mentioned, sometimes, Wednesday at noon or whatever, if that in and of itself is the only thing that's keeping them from getting involved in Rotary, then I can say, oh. Obviously, we want them to join our club, be involved with us locally, but if for some reason we can't get them there, or as you mentioned, they're leaving because it's not working, this is a way to keep them involved in.
Great fit. The cost a year is $300. That's the total cost, the dues a year, paid in quarters at $75 a quarter, okay? And here is the website for it. It's called Utah Rotary eClub.org. So we're UtahRotary.com. This is UtahRotaryEClub.com. And so you get that, and there's a website. It's there now, okay? You can see it. So give me your contact information, Brent.
Doing pretty good up for the hits.
Yeah.
We need a few more commitments. You can't tell me that that's nothing. We just need a little backup and help from you guys. Okay, look at me, read my lips, because you're gonna go. Well, when I'm done, you're gonna say, "Oh, that fits." Okay, my email is all lowercase, constant. Y, the letter Y. B as in Brent. N as in never. R as in repeat. M, mother. L as in, I hope I don't go to L. Underscore 98 at yahoo.com. Somebody just tell me what that says. Why be normal?
That'd be normal. Give me your cell number.
801 201 7569. If I don't answer, leave me a message. I will get back to you. Anything else?
No, nothing else. Okay, the other Rotary site we have out there, which is an alternative site. I don't know about you, and please take this with just a nice grain of salt. Our website sucks. It sucks. And I just have to tell you that the new district governor has agreed to change our website. And so we're working on a new website right now for the district governor. Nobody else knows that except for the presidents are learning it, and you've got it now, okay? But this site.
Are you just changing the site or the platform?
No, the platform. The URL will be the same, okay?
So you're
But
leaving-
it's UtahRotary.com or .org. You can get to it either way, okay? That'll stay the same, but it'll be a total new site. But I put this alternative site up because last year I promised the membership chairs that we would have Rotary moments, that I would have 52 Rotary moments up. Now you can see how many hits that this has had. Not only from our district, but there are 10 other districts that are using this, the Rotary moments that are coming down off the site. So you can go up there and hit a Rotary moment. Rotary moments like that video that I just showed you, okay? The Montgomery video. There's 52 of those in your club. Those are all going to switch over to the new site on July 1. But what I want you to see right now, and you can write down the URL, allthingsrotary5420.com, is a recruitment pamphlet. I've written a whole book on recruitment, on Rotary recruitment. I discovered when I was recruiting individuals that one of the greatest challenges that we have in the world is people will recruit if they know what they're supposed to say. So when I said, you need to recruit, you need to go out and talk Rotary, they'd say, well, what happens if they say I'm too busy? Because for a person who doesn't know how to answer that, that's an impediment. And so they go, oh, well, I guess you're too busy. I accept it. So in the back of this book is what I developed when I worked for the School Employees Association and later FOP, conversation logs. Okay, conversation logs. This book takes about, this little pamphlet takes about 15 to 20 minutes to read cover to cover. And you'll have the basics, a basic tool. This is a tool. In this tool, I talk about two-on-one recruitment, okay? Again, this is a roadmap. Two-on-one recruitment. Two-on-one recruitment is simply this. I take this classification list. Everybody have the classification list. You in the back, do you have the classification list? Okay. You want to take that back to here's the classification. Okay, if you're new and you haven't signed the roll, I need you to sign the roll too. Where does that need to go? I'll start over here. Yeah, take it over there, because then Okay. Again, in this booklet, you all can read. In this booklet, recruitment pamphlet, you can go there, you can read this. But a 2-on-1 recruitment is this. Heather and I, both Rotarians, we go out to visit an individual to talk to them about Rotary. How do I set that meeting up? I go, first of all, there's 2 sources for new recruitment. I take this classification list. Rotary clubs need to be diverse. Now I don't want to step on any toes, but I'm going to talk about this, at least because I think it's important. I am not a big fan of homogeneous clubs. Part of the challenge the Hispanic club had, and the reason they divided in 2 areas, is they're pretty homogeneous in the Hispanic community. And they're all coming in, but they all come from different cultures and different backgrounds, and there's a lot of different, for want of a better word, let me just say, and I hope I don't offend anyone here, drama, a lot of drama, unnecessary drama that went on for years and years and years. So they made a conscious decision, kudos to you, to divide along better cultural lines, to have more communication and more work. And the product speaks for itself. Both clubs did what? Grew. Both clubs grew as a result of that. You can see the number. They're leading the district as a result of that. What strengthens a club is diversity. And Rotary talked about classifications. And so what I suggest you do on this is don't go out because there's 5 bankers in Roosevelt and recruit the 4 other bankers. You've got a banker. You've got a person that knows banking, and Dave, he's in that community. Go look at this list and find out who's on this list that isn't in your club. Do you have a CPA? How many of you have a CPA in your club? Look around. Some of the club's hands aren't going up. How many of you have a lawyer in your club? I know it's difficult. You can't pass a 4-way test, but you know. How many of you have an architect in your class, in your group? Look around. Look around here. Okay? How many of you have a plumber in your club? 1, 2, 3. Okay? So one of the things I've convinced Governor Glegg to do, and he's bought off on it, again, he's sharing this with the presidents right now, is we're going to put together a list of all Rotarians that want to participate by professions and by cities. So that you can, if you've got a plumbing problem and you want to look up a plumber that's a Rotarian, not to get a discount, not to say, but to look up somebody that you know that at least espouses the 4-way test, you can look them up and you can call them. Because network has been a bad word in Rotary for a long time. Well, guess what? Paul Harris developed Rotary for networking. That's the first thing he did. 2 reasons. He was lonely. He was a Chicago lawyer. He was lonely in a big town. He wanted friends, and he wanted to know, how can I build my business? And they wanted to know how they could build businesses. Okay? So we're going to put that together. We're going to have it up there. There might be a nominal fee like $5 to do it, and that money will all go not for anything. That will probably go to youth programs. We're talking about what it does. If you want it highlighted, you know, in yellow, it'll be $20. But it'll all go to youth programs. None of that will be built into anything but benefiting youth programs and trying to do it. If we charge anything, that's still up for discussion. But Governor's already said we're going to develop that. So that's another tool that you can use to say, look, come and network with us, and you're going to be the person in the profession. So what I like to do, and this is exactly what we did in the Valley West Club. Valley West Club jumped up and down for years and years and years. Then they went out of business because they only had 3 members, and if 1 missed, they only had 2, and if 2 missed, they only had 1. It was pathetic. When I came up on the new club that had been trying to get together for a year and a half, they had 3, 4 members. And I said, the first thing is, we're not meeting. It's doom and gloom when we come into a room and there's only 3 people here. It's pretty tough. I suggest rather than hold a weekly meeting, we develop a plan and then work the plan. And so what we did, the first place we went is to the Chamber of Commerce. Every one of your cities will have a chamber list. Okay? So if you go to Google and you type in West Jordan Chamber of Commerce or Chamber West in West Valley, you have a list. That's a list of businesses. And they publish those lists. Those lists aren't confidential. I'll tell you why they publish those lists. Networking, right? They want to network. So that's why those lists are published. So what do you think my first visit was in the Valley West Club? The chamber president. I went to the chamber president and I said, Alan, 1, I'm trying to do something good in this community. You've been doing something good for a long time in this community. The chamber president needs to be a member of this club. I need you to help us change this community. And you're the type of person that needs to be a part of this club because you can help change it. Kelly, I can't be there every week. I don't want you there every week. I want you there when you can be there. Well, I was a Rotarian in the Feld Club, and they were threatening to throw me out if I didn't come every single week. I said, we're going to threaten to keep you in if you don't come every week. We're not going to be constrained by those rules. We would like you to come as often as you can come. Could you think you could try to be there at least once a month? Oh yeah, I think I can make once a month. I think I can do that. Then that's our deal. You try to make it once a month. Will you do that? Yeah, I'll do that. Then the second question, Alan, here's your chamber list. You know these people far better than I know them. Will you identify the people on this list that I should go out and visit? Will you just highlight them, give me their name, and let me go out? He says, well, I don't have the time to go with you. I'm not asking you to go with me. I'm asking you to highlight them, and then would you allow me to use your name? Would you do that? Sure, I'll let you do that. Thanks, Alan. I really appreciate that. So then I had a list. Now, in the booklet that's on allthingsrotary5420.com, I make a phone call. Okay? Heather, you and I are going to make this phone call. Okay? I call Heather. Heather Anderson?
Yes, this is she.
Hey, this is Kelly Atkinson. Alan Anderson speaks highly of you, and he gave me your name.
Oh, I love Alan. How's he doing?
He's doing really well. I'm working on a project with Alan in this community to form a Rotary Club, and I told him I needed the names of some outstanding outstanding people in this community who really know how to make a difference and have really spent their time making a difference. And he said that you're that type of person.
Wow, I'm flattered. Thank you.
Yeah, well, he thinks a lot of you. What I would like to do, Heather, I know you're a busy person. Alan told me that you're crazy busy, and those are the exact type of people we're looking for. What we're doing is forming a Rotary Club. A Rotary Club is a club of business men and women that really want to make a difference in this community. And if there's any community that really needs to have a difference made in it, it's West Valley. And he said that you were that type of person. I'd like to come and spend only 20 minutes. I promise I will only spend 20 minutes of your time. And at the end of that presentation, you'll know whether this is a good fit or not for you. Would you allow me the opportunity to do that? Now, before she responds, there are 3 possible answers. What are they? Yes? No? Maybe. Maybe or tell me more. I want to hear more. So what's your answer? Okay, maybe. Well, I know that a lot of people, especially busy, competent people like you, wonder how much more that I can do. Again, I promise you that I'll only take 20 minutes of your time, and at the end of that 20 minutes, you'll know whether it's for you. What did I just do? I repeated what I just said, because I am not going to have a conversation with her on the phone and trying to lay out what it is. I want to be face-to-face with her when I make that pitch. So now she's going to say what?
Yeah, let's look at my schedule real quick.
Okay? She says, she could say, no, I just don't have the time. We are not used car salesmen. Is there any used car salesmen in here? I just thought one less Rotarian. Because Kelly opened his mouth and inserted his foot. What I'm saying is we're not high pressure. She says no at that point after I've taken a second approach because she didn't say no the first time. Then I simply say, thank you so much. I hope sometime in my travels that I get an opportunity to meet with you because Alan speaks so highly of you. Now, what have I just done? Kept the door open. What have I done to Alan? Why am I making Alan look good? Because Alan's helping us, right? He's helping us. And at the end of the day, the worst thing that could come out of that conversation is she hangs up the phone and said, wow, I didn't know Alan felt that way about me. There's no downside to this. There is absolutely no downside. When somebody tells you no, you follow up and saying, I hope someday I get an opportunity to visit with you or meet you or thank you so much for your time. If they say yes, she looks at her calendar. She gives you an option. You negotiate with her on that option. You say, that day doesn't simply work for me. Do you have another opportunity? If she says, no, that's the only opportunity I have, then I know that I've got to get somebody else to make that appointment, don't I? To keep that appointment. Because I'm not going to, she said yes. And then what do you do when she gives you the appointment date? You got it. You confirm that that's the appointment date. What do?
Show up.
You show up. But what do you do with the call? Thank her and hang the phone up. Okay? So a couple of different things in this model. Fred, I would like you to join Rotary. What do I say after that? Nothing. I say nothing. I've asked him a question. I would like to come visit you. I say nothing until he answers me. Nothing. I don't care. Let me tell you where one of the greatest, as a young field representative, I went and met Superintendent Newton down in Juab County. Superintendent Newton was an old farmer, a great negotiator, and superintendent of the Juab School District down there. I went in to negotiate with him, and I said, Superintendent, we'd like a 2% raise. We would like one vacation day to bring us up to the average of the school districts around us. And we would like one more sick leave day to bring us up to the average of the school districts around us. Dead silence. He sat there for 20 minutes in dead silence. I'm looking over at my negotiating team. Is he still breathing? What's going on here? Dead silence. He went. It went and went. Finally, I couldn't stand it anymore. I had to talk. It was like, oh, well, Superintendent, we really need this, and we really did. Dead silence. And I am telling you, at the end of that period of time, he goes, nope. That's what he said. So we left that session because we'd had about 45 minutes to 50 minutes of an hour meeting with no talking going on. So I got the negotiating team together and I said, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go in and ask that. And then we're going to wait till he speaks. And when he says no, we're going to say, yep. And we're not speaking. Another hour meeting, very little speaking. The third meeting, we came in and said, Superintendent, we think this is a fair thing to do. He says, I'll give you the vacation day, I won't give you the sick leave day, and I'll give you 3% instead of 2%. But what he taught me was the power of silence. And so often when we ask the question, guess what we forget to do? Wait for the answer. The first person that speaks after you ask the question is the person that is in the subordinate position. So you wait. Heather, will you allow me to come in and visit you? I'll only take 20 minutes of your time. Dead silence on the phone. I don't care how long it takes. You do not speak until they answer. When they answer, they're going to answer one of three ways. We've gone through that. So all throughout this, remember, when you ask the question, you wait for an answer. So we had that list from the chamber. Okay? Just recently in the Valley West Club, we handed this out. And we highlighted, I took a yellow highlighter, and I highlighted all the classifications we didn't have. And I said to the members, Fred's our membership chair, I said to the members, go through there and look, who do you know in those classifications? And we're going to use this in conjunction with the chamber list because we haven't called all the chamber lists. Why didn't we do it? Because the goal was to form a club. So I think there were like 58 people on that list. I said there was some bigger number. That tells you that I got gray hair and a short memory. Have a good memory, but it's just very short memory. And 84% of the people we visited from Alan Anderson's list, because he helped self-identify those individuals, joined that club. Joined that club. In a very short period of time, we went from 3 members in 3 months, over 3 months period of time. We went from 3 members to 20 members. We're 21 members right now. But we're gearing up. We're gonna do some more things in that. We're gonna grow that club some more, and we're identifying who to go up. So what I'm going to suggest to you, we need to start talking about membership in our club. This isn't your job, chairs. This is not your job. Don't take the burdens of the world up on you. Make this a team effort. Everyone in the Rotary Club has a responsibility to bring more like-minded people in. You probably heard this in this culture. You probably heard this. Every member. You've heard it. You've heard it. We're in this culture. That's what we're talking about. Every person going out and encouraging other people to join Rotary. Okay? We need to do that. And we do that by using the classification list and using the chamber list in conjunction, and then identifying those people. Preferably, if Fred writes down he knows a lawyer, because we don't have a lawyer in our club, he knows a lawyer, preferably I want to go on that visit, that 20-minute visit with who? Fred. I want to go with Fred, right? Why? Because he knows him, as Dave said. He knows him. So we go out together, and I let the first 5 minutes. Here's the 5 minutes, and this again is outlined on All Things Rotary 5420. The first 5 minutes is chit-chat. Just chit-chat. Come in, sit down. Fred had a great time. Thanks so much for taking the appointment. Had a great time today on the great time the other day on the telephone. Thanks for taking the appointment. And so tell me a little bit about your architect business.
I do mostly commercial projects. Most of my clients are small developers. And if I get in trouble, it's for being too practical. And many of my clients don't necessarily have a lot of money, and they want a building with a good job.
Wow, what a service you're providing an architectural plan. Well, very little money. I don't know too many architects out there that do that. That's a real service you're providing. So, how's your business?
It's been very good, and currently I've got a number of projects I need to finish up. I've got a lot of things that I'm currently working on.
Super. What am I doing? Showing interest, listening, building a relationship. I'm breaking the ice, building a relationship. And then usually I'll say something like, you a family man?
I'm married and we've lived in the same house for 27 years.
You have any little rutgrats?
There's 2 children, no adults living in our house.
Yeah. What a great arrangement. Now I've established a little bit more rapport, haven't I? I know a little bit about his background and his interests. Well, let me tell you that Alan told me that you're a tremendous person. And I can already tell that. I can tell that because you're providing a service, filling a need that a lot of people couldn't afford if you weren't in this niche providing that service. So I can already tell that you're a good fit for what we're going to talk about. Rotary is the largest service organization and the first service organization in the world. It has 1.2 million members across the globe. It's in over 200 countries. It has 34,000 Rotary clubs all over the world. When you go to an international conference, it takes over an hour for the flag ceremony, for the flags to just render in from all over the world. It's so cool. It's like, wow, look at all these. All this is on, these facts are all in that booklet, okay? The booklet that I showed you, that pamphlet that I've got here, that I put that back over here, the blue pamphlet that you can just run off. It's all there. All those facts. You don't have to worry about them. You can just go there and get those facts. Okay? So it's imperative that when you go to that meeting, you have someone that knows Rotary enough to be able to share those facts. Okay? Then you say, most importantly, what Rotary does is it focuses on this community. Now, when I went to see Chuck told me in his presentation that he's a Peace Scholar. Do you think I talked about West Valley with him? Think I talked about West Valley there? No, because he told me that he was a member of the Peace Corps. I said Peace Corps, but he's a member of the Peace Corps. And then I said, well, wow, are you a fit for Rotary? Let me tell you how we're transforming the planet. That's why you take that first 5 minutes. After that, again, there's a URL in here that says why Rotary. Show any short little video. But I like why Rotary because it has different people speaking. Have you seen the why Rotary video? All of you seen the why Rotary video? It's just different people speaking. You know, it's great. And I just take my little laptop here and I just plop it in front of them. I take my little speaker. I just have my little speaker and I plug that on and I just say why Rotary. Then this is what I do. And that's on the website and in this book, Why Rotary, okay? And then I say, well, what did you think, Oscar? Yeah, great. Let me tell you the commitment. Heather, tell him the commitment. Then the reason I want to go with 2 is because I've been driving the conversation, and you should pick the point person to drive the conversation. But you should also know that your teammate, when you pass the baton to the teammate, that gives you an opportunity to start assessing, to see what's going on. Reading body language, looking at the person, thinking, where are they in the process? So you're giving yourself some time to think, okay? You're giving your time to react to what's going on. So Heather's going to tell them the commitment. Now, we have that written down, again, in this booklet. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Here it is. This is a roadmap. It's written down what the commitment is. So the commitment has to be, how often do we expect you to come to a meeting? How much money is this going to cost? And what has the club done to make a difference in the community, in the world. So we want to give them a vision of that. We want to tell them the financial commitment, the time commitment, and then we want to tell them what has transpired in the club, so that they get a kind of a feel for what kind of club. So if I was making that presentation in my club, let me tell you what I'd tell them. And then maybe one of you can, maybe even two, can tell them what happened in what's coming down in your club. But this is what I did. One of the great projects that we did in our club that really made a difference in our community was 2 Rotarians in our club went to the Chicago convention in 2005, and they went to what they called a miracle field. Miracle field was a field that had a specialized surface so that severely, for children with severe disabilities or mental challenges, could play America's pastime, baseball. Now, baseball might seem like a very simple thing. Just stay with me a minute and I'll share what I didn't realize when we were building this field. I thought, well, every child ought to have an opportunity to participate in sports regardless of their disability. So a club of 26 Rotarians raised $500,000 to build a field, the first of its type in Utah. That's the power of Rotary. But let me tell you about the payback. This is the payback. The first day that we held the leagues, this little Down syndrome boy came. Cutest little kid I've ever seen. Comes with a little ball cap. Comes with a bat. Showing him a problem. He's in full uniform, but we hadn't handed out uniforms. He came with cleats. He's playing on a rubberized surface. He shows up with cleats. He comes up to me and he looks at me and he says, "Mister, did you help build this? Did you build this field?" I said, "Well, I'm one that helped on building this field. I helped on building this field." And he goes, "Thanks." This little 9-year-old boy says to me, "Thanks. All my life, I've wanted to play baseball." So the first time he steps up to the plate, he takes his little rubberized bat, he does this. He holds his cleats up and hits on the ball, because that's what he's seen in the pros, and he knocked the first pitch right over the first baseman's head, the first pitch. But it wasn't until after I realized the difference. There's a little boy in a powered wheelchair. He was 14 years of age, and I swear he was only that high. He was only that high. And his dad looked at me and he said, "Thanks, Rotary, for making our family feel normal." And for the first time, for absolutely the first time in my life, I was transformed into realizing what it must be like to have a child that has these tremendous challenges. Why? I'll tell you why. Because that family never had an opportunity to see their boy participate in a sporting activity like every other child in the world. What is that worth? $500,000, $1 million, $100 million? There's not enough money in the world that can make a family feel like for the first time in their life that they have the same opportunities for their challenged child as every other parent. That's what Rotary's about. And that's what I share with them. I share a little Rotary moment after I tell them how much money it's going to be, how that. Now that might be the person I come and I tell them, you have a compelling Rotary moment. You heard one today, didn't you? Did you hear, Jay? Wasn't that a great Rotary moment? That was a great Rotary moment this morning when Jay Jacobson, who by the way is one of the most internationally renowned medical people in the area of disease in the world. He's world renowned for what he does. And he started out with a little Rotary wheel and a letter saying, "Let us help put you through college." That's what we do to change the world. You share that with them. Now, let me tell you that. After that, it's all downhill. Because if somebody can hear a story like that and they say, I don't have the time, I'm not going to do it, then you've self-selected. They're not a Rotarian in the first place, are they? So I never worry about that. And then I say the same thing I said on the phone. Heather, it's been such a delight to meet you. It's been so nice to talk to you. Maybe people's situation changed. And so maybe in 6 months I could call you back again if you thought it was okay and check to see if your situation's changed at all. And maybe it'll be a better fit at that time. Would you mind if I did that? She's going to give me 3 answers. What are they? Heather, maybe. They say maybe. Usually at this point they either say yes or no. Okay, and they say no, I just reiterate. Alan thinks so much of you. It was a delightful to spend 20 minutes of your time. I ended this presentation. Who did I have with me that time? I think I had Jerry Summerhays. We went over and saw Lindsay Hymas in America First. She's American First ranked. We finished it in 17 minutes. We stopped in 17 minutes. You do never ever go over 20 minutes. Why? Because you told them on the phone what?
20 minutes.
And you have a 4-way test, right? And so I don't care where you are, you make sure that you end that conversation. And that's the lead person going in there. So you might have to say you tell Heather ahead of time, or you tell Kelly. Heather would have to be telling Kelly, you've got 20 minutes. 20 minutes. You've got to spend only 4 minutes. At 4 minutes, if you go over, I'm going to say something like, isn't it wonderful? And then that's your signal to wrap up, okay? Because you're going to only take 20 minutes or less. We finished at 17 minutes. I said, well, that's what we wanted to share with you, Lindsay. We're 17 minutes in the presentation. I told you I'd take 20, we only took 17. She says, well, I didn't really expect you to only take only 20 minutes. I said, one of the things that we believe in Rotary is called the 4-way test. And the first tenet of the 4-way test and the things we think, say, or do is it the truth? And she looked at me and she said, I want to be a part of an organization that has that type of integrity. So everything you do in that presentation is geared towards what? Reaffirming what we're about, okay? And if you do that and you have pre-selected those people carefully, I'm going to tell you that at least 50% of the time you're going to get a new Rotarian. 50% of the time, a new Rotarian. So what are your questions? What are your thoughts? Now this requires 4 times a year telling your president, you want me as a membership chair, I've got to have 4 meetings a year. Now at the last 2 meetings, when your people get this down, maybe you can do this in 10 or 15 minutes. And you could have something else come in, but you can get this down pretty quick. Once they understand, here's what I'm trying to do. Requires getting your chairman, your chamber list. It also, that's where you start. You start to try to get them in your club. If you haven't got the chamber president a member of the chamber in your club, might not be the chamber president, it might be one of the board members. If they can't do it, go get a board member. But you need somebody from the chamber in your club. The other thing is, legislators. You want at least 2 legislators, a senator and a representative. You don't want too many legislators, but you go to them. Because it's not a political club, but you want enough. Because why? Because when we go to do a project, and I need that project, I need some kind of cooperation with either the city or the state legislature, key people in the state legislature. Guess who I can go to? I can go to Fred and say, Fred, we want to do this. You tell me what it is that we need it done. So if you've got an insurance guy in your club and you're going to do an interactive ball field, the first question you ask is, what is our liability? I don't know what the liability is. I'm not an insurance guy. But that insurance guy can tell me, here are your liabilities. And the best advice that they gave was, don't you run the park. You build the park and turn it over to the city, because the city has protection, government immunity, they'll do it. So that's what he said. So we went to the city to just talk about liability. Just say, look, once we get this ball field built, can we turn it over to you? They said, you're going to build this field in our city? Yeah, we want to donate the property to build it on. See how the networking works? And that's why you want to use the classification list. You want to look down the classification list. Right now, because Jerry Summerhays, our great past district governor, so intense, Jerry went out and got me 4 dentists. He had 3 more he was going out and recruit. I told him, no more dentists. No more dentists. We only want a couple of people from that classification until we fill this classification list. But wait, we want to include everybody. No, we don't. The difference with the Rotary Club, the perfect club is between 25 and 50 members. You get more than 50 members, you ought to form a new club, in my judgment. It's very hard to have a club. Now, this is my other little spill about it. We are a club. And the reason we don't have retention is that sometimes we think that the Rotary meeting is an extension of the business day. It shouldn't be. Every Rotary meeting should be judged on 3 criteria. Did we make them laugh? Did we make them cry? Did we make them feel that their attendance was important? If every meeting, assess your Rotary Club on those 3 criteria. And if you didn't meet at least 2 of the 3 criteria, then you need to sit back and say, what are we going to do next week to make them laugh, make them cry, make them feel like their attendance was important. So I want to talk a little bit about this, and then I want to talk a little bit about retention. Heather. Okay. Questions on this? Is there anyone that doesn't understand what we're doing now? It's a roadmap. Now, some of you are going to say, Kelly, that's ridiculous. It stinks. It won't work. Okay? That's great. If you're in the green, God bless you. Do what you want to do. If you're in the yellow or you're in the red, then bring me a better plan. Bring me a better plan, because I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it, but if you got one, bring it to me. I'm all ears. You're bright, intelligent people. You might come up with a better idea, but I have sat down and I've thought about this, and I have 30 years of experience in doing it and having success with it. I know what works as far as I'm concerned almost consistently in every organization. But guess what? You're an autonomous Rotary Club. Oh, I love it. Bottom up. So don't expect Governor Glade or past district governor, which stands for prestige done gone or past dead and gone. Don't expect me to come in and tell you, you have to do this in your club. And if you don't do this in your club, you're a failure. And that's Governor Glade calling and ready to tell him the same thing. Don't worry what Kelly's saying. You can do what you want in your club. Okay? So, retention. The biggest single thing in clubs is we don't act like clubs. What's a club? What's a club? Tell me what a club is. A friendship.
Group of like-minded people.
Group of like-minded people.
It's not something you hit people over the head with.
Not something you hit people over the head with. Not something. I mean, if they want to, look, you've got to make that Rotary Club an extension of the family. Because if I want to be bored, I can stay at work. Okay? When I go to my Rotary Club, I want to be able to let down my hair. I want to joke. I want to laugh. I want to meet those 3 criteria, laughing, that. So the first thing you need to do is you need to know that everybody in that room needs some attention. Most of your sergeant of arms don't understand the role. People don't understand the role of the sergeant of arms. They think it's to raise money. It's not to raise money. If they raise money, that's just the icing on the cake. It's to make sure that from week in and week out, keep people in the audience that haven't been recognized, and they talk about it. The good sergeant of arms, the very best sergeant of arms, are the ones that come and look right down and say, guess what? I understood that you got a promotion this week. Is that true that you got a promotion this week? You did. Guess what? You didn't reveal that. That's $1,205,000 fine. And guess what? You can pay it in increments. We'll take monthly payments on that. Congratulations to us. Tell us a little bit about it. And you let that person tell a little bit about themselves. Who doesn't want to talk about themselves? You know, even shy people really want to talk about themselves. They're just too shy to do it. You coax it out of them. You make it fun. And then the other club members go, some of the clubs, when the sergeant of arms do that, the sergeant of arms says to them, let's just say right on. So try that. Just say right on.
Right
Ready?
on.
Right on.
Right on.
Right on. They do that in unison. Right on. Tells a little story and they say, congratulations. Let's just tell them right on. And they just go right on. And they make it fun. And they go around the room and they highlight different people so that your attendance means something. It wasn't like, I'm there. The second thing you've got to do takes a little bit of work. And I'm not asking you to do it, but I'm asking you, if you take one of these and hand out, and I will put 52 of these cards up on the Rotary site when the new Rotary site is up. So you have 52 Rotary moments that you can use if you choose, and 53 of these cards. So this card says World Understanding Month. It's got the Rotary. We handwrite for the people that aren't there. I do it ahead of time. in the two clubs that I'm kind of managing, working with. I'll write it out. I don't know whether Fred's going to show up this week or not, but guess what? He wasn't there last week. So I handwrite a card, and I put it here, up here, I write, Fred, gosh, our club isn't the same when you're not there. And then I hand it to the Rotary Club members during the meeting. They all sign it. So one of the members was with our mayor in West Jordan that knows him really well. I get ready to mail the card because we handwrite it. We stick it in an envelope. We get ready to handwrite it. I'm getting ready to stick it in the envelope. And guess what he's written on there? Mayor, get your ass to this meeting. Next week, the mayor shows up. And only because he knew him. That is a club. He knew that he could say that to the mayor, and the mayor wouldn't be offended because he's a friend, right? That's what you do. In the smaller clubs, you just do that. Say, look, if you're a big club, say you have 50 members, like Murray's over 50 members. You hand the card out and you say, look, I only want 10 signatures. When 10 signatures are on it, send it back to me. You just hand it to a different place and you hand it out. What does that say though? When you do this, what does it say? You were missed. Because let me tell you what happens in Rotary clubs. And this is why we're having trouble with retention. We're having trouble with retention because of this. You miss one meeting, nobody notices. You miss 2 meetings, nobody notices. You miss 3 meetings, nobody notices. In the 4th week, the invoice comes and somebody notices, right? It's like, pay us. I've been coming to the Rotary Club meeting. Nobody noticed that I was there, but now I'm getting invoiced? Give me a break. What is this? That's not a club. We need to start paying attention to our members. We are a club. That sergeant of arms, get the very best person you have in the club to be your sergeant of arms. Go talk to your president about this. Say, who can we do this? In the Salt Lake Club, they used to have a sergeant of arms, and then they went away from it. But his name was Bob Shogany. And let me tell you what, when Bob was alive, you'd walk in that Salt Lake Rotary Club, and it was like coming home. Well, look, we got a new member here. Well, I'm already a member. Well, then you're new. You're at least new to us. You come over and say, what's your name? What do you do for a living? Why are you here today? Are you thinking about joining the club? Well, no, I'm already a member of the club. Well, drop that club and join this club. You know, I mean, he was so great. Let me take you over here and sit you down next to somebody that will take care of you. He introduced you to everybody you were sitting around. Said, this is a wonderful guy. This is my new best friend. And it was like coming to home. How many of you have been to the Sugar House Club? We have anybody in here from the Sugar House? The Sugar House Rotary Club. You're the AG for it. Sugar House Rotary Club. What do they do to new guests? You've been there. What do they do to get new guests? Some of you raise your hands. You've been there. What did they do to you?
Don't remember.
What? You don't remember? They have a song specifically for new people that visit their club. And they don't, it's not like, some people hate to sing, I'm among them because I can't sing. Penny loves to sing. That's why she was conducting the music today. I kind of just mumbled the words. Do the same in church. Stake president said, don't come to church unless you're going to sing. I said, well, thanks. Now I can tell everybody. Stake president told me not to come to church. You know, but it isn't. The point is this. You've got to make people feel welcome. Visitors, as well as everyone else. You got to make them feel welcome. Yes, Heather?
Just add a little side note to that. Someone misses once, twice, 3 times to get their invoice and they're thinking, am I a part? Someone misses once, twice, 3 times, and then they finally come back. Make sure they are welcomed back and you are happy and excited to see them and they feel missed, as opposed to they get a guilt trip for having not been there. For a few reasons. One, you don't know why they were missing, especially if you haven't sent the card or called them to find out why they're not there. It might be that they had a traumatic thing happen in their family and they couldn't, or they had a work day for a state legislative session. I'm assuming you don't go to your Rotary meeting.
In the last year, I probably missed very few, but in January, February, and the first part of March, I didn't come.
I didn't go to a single Rotary meeting during the end of January, February, or the first 2 weeks of March.
Because she's a lobbyist.
It was a state legislative session. And the first year I was a Rotarian, I missed the end of January, February, the first 2 weeks of March. And when I came back the 3rd week of March, I had 5 people come up to me and give me a guilt trip for having not been there for 2 months. And I just thought, well, if I don't go there, I can't afford to be a part of you and do service and good work. And I'm so sorry I can't be everything to everyone. And if I didn't love Rotary, I probably would have quit. I'd only been a member for 6 months. But because I knew how great Rotary was, I wanted to stay a part. But we need to be really careful that when someone comes back, that we are welcoming them back with a fatted calf.
The fatted calf, great. She told that story last year. I just about died when she said 5 people came up and gave her grief, and 1 person came up and said, we missed you. All 6 of those people should have come up and said, we missed you. Where have you been? We've missed you so bad. We're so glad to have you back. So we sent this card to a person that hadn't been to a Rotary Club in 6 months. We just kept sending them and sending them and sending them. We just kept sending them and just sending them. Called her a couple of times. Got her phone message. She finally walked in the club, and the club spontaneously stood up and gave her a standing ovation. Said, we are so glad to have you. She says, I've been getting these stupid cards. You guys have been telling me I needed to be here. I want to come see how you've changed, because obviously you've changed. Clubs are clubs. We've got to make sure that we're together. We've got to make sure that we bear one another burdens, that we bear one another troubles, that we work together on projects, that we share the wealth of the projects. It's not one person just having a project. It's other club members wanting their dreams. Ask them, okay, before we decide what our next project is, let's just go through and have each club member express what they kind of like, which would like to spend some time doing. You're a club. You're working together. You're helping one another bear the challenges of making the world, the community, a better place. Listen to them. That's what happened in our club when Sharon and Stu came back from Chicago, and they told us, we saw this great field. We went out one of the days, we saw this great field. We saw these kids. Every kid got hit. If it took 10 strikes, every kid got to hit. Every kid got to be on. Every kid had a buddy. Every kid. Then they showed us this little video to kind of convince us of it. I saw this little kid, and he's in this little wheelchair, and he goes, he's being interviewed live, and he goes, am I live? And the TV announcer said, yeah, I've never been live before. Had the cutest little personality. He went, all my life I've waited to play baseball. He says, the Phillies are my favorite team. And when I show up, I'm going to be wearing a Philly hat. And maybe they'll see me. Maybe I'll get to play professional baseball. That did it for me. But you've got to be a club. And every one of you, you've got to be recognized. Do you have that feeling in your clubs? Ask yourself, do we have that feeling in our clubs? And if the answer is no, guess what? Then shake it up. Because in the Salt Lake Club, they went from Bob Shogany to going there as a past district governor that's been to that club lots of different times. I went to that club 3 years ago, and it was kind of hard for some of the leadership to hear this, but I purposely, when I go there, I could sit next to past district governor Gene Bank, one of the greatest governors this district's ever seen. I could sit next to him, or Governor Jim Bromley, the elder statesman of Rotary in District 5420. I could sit next to Charles Dahlquist, who was my centennial president and did sensational things during his year, but I purposely sit at tables where people don't know me. Purposely. I look around and say, do I know any of those people? And I sit at that table, and guess what happens? Nobody spoke to me. Not one person. And I had showered that day. I was really disappointed. I thought, if I'm a past district governor and can come into a club and sit down at a table and not have one person say, what in the hell are you doing here today? What are you doing here? Who are you? Where are you from? What are you doing here? Why are you here today? If I can do that, just imagine what a person that's going there to check out Rotary feels. I've heard this is a Rotary Club. I'm going to go to a Rotary Club today. I'm going to meet these fantastic, exceptional people. I sat at a table, had a how much is your lunch for guests now?
$30.
$30. I had a $30 lunch, and nobody spoke to me. I think I'm home. With teenage kids. Okay? So, questions? Questions on the
So this isn't available right now, but
it's not available right now. How soon would you like it available? Right now. Okay, I'll put it up on the website. I'll put a couple of cards on the website by midweek. Okay? You can take them. They're just regular. This is the regular 5.5 by 7 envelope. It's a little smaller. This is just bond paper. I just copied it on a copy machine, ran it through bond paper. You'll have it in a PDF format. By that, you just go in. If you know how to do that on a WordPerfect file to set the bond, you can just go in and set it and run them off. You can run them off as many times as you need. Okay? So how do you do this in a bigger club? How you do it in a bigger club is you don't go through every single member. You start with the members that have missed the most recently, and you send them that. Then when they get their invoice, they know one thing. I haven't been there, but at least I noticed that I missed. At least this club cares, and it makes a big difference. Our retention has gone up significantly as a result of that, significantly in the clubs that we're using it. And so do it. I'm just doing it. And the reason I give you these tools is this, fellow Rotarians, because you might say this is the dumbest, stupidest thing in the world. I've got something better. Use it. Use it, but it's an idea. Because this is what I know about working with Rotarians. When you read this book, you'll get better ideas. And when you get better ideas, all I ask you to do is share it with us so we can share it with somebody else. That's all I'm asking you to do. Because you're all bright, very intelligent, super qualified people, or you wouldn't be Rotarians. So take it and run with it. Take it and run with it. And I promise you, if you do that, your clubs will grow. So, who thinks their club can't grow in here? I mean, just be honest. If you think your club can't grow. Your club can't grow? It cannot grow. Okay, who thinks they can do this in their club? Is there anyone that thinks they can't do this? Let me just say that. Is there anyone that thinks they can't do this? Because this is my bet. If you think you can't do that, I will promise you that if you'll call me up, I will come out and work this program with you. And if we don't increase your membership, I will give your club $1,000. $1,000. If we can't increase your membership by using this program, I will give your club $1,000. Now that's $47,000 that I could possibly end up giving out. Well, I can't because your clubs are, these clubs, at least in the green, are paying. But that's how confident I am. I'm confident that this program works. But if you don't like this program, I've already told you, do something different. Okay? That's just one tool. That's just one tool. I talk about the penny program in here. That's the program we used the first year to turn around the membership. The first year we used the penny program. That's where we have a group of people come together. The only problem with that is not all Rotarians can close a cell. At the end of that meeting, you're supposed to turn to the person you invited and said, well, I invited you here because you're a very special person. Will you join Rotary? Rotarians won't do it. Because they're afraid that they're going to say yes, no, or maybe. Okay? So they won't do it. So I actually think the 2-on-1 by having a team like somebody that knows Rotary really well and somebody that can back you up is the best approach. And so in the West Valley Club, I went out with Ron a couple of times. Mayor Ron Bigelow. So what do you think a businessman or woman does when I walk in and the mayor's sitting next to me? I said, well, the mayor's a Rotarian. Tell him why you're a Rotarian, Mayor. And he can't go to every meeting, but if I ask him, hey, would you come here with me? Usually he'll say, let me work my schedule and I'll come. That's why you have Rotarians, okay? That's why you want influential people in your club. Every club should seek to have the mayor or a city council person in the club. Every club should seek to have that. Not all the city council people, but at least some of those people. Every club should seek to have a legislator in the club. Every club should seek to have that. Work hard. Every club should have some key businesses in that community. C.R. England and the Czar Club. He's here today. Dave, C.R. England is the largest trucking company in the friggin' world. In the friggin' world, in a club of 21. And Dave has a lot of contacts and a lot of people. He came up to me today after our meeting we had, and he says, I'm taking these 3 people. I've got these 3 people. I know who they are, and I can get them in the club. That's why you want diversity. Okay. Any other questions? So we promised you we would keep you in this meeting till noon. That is a 4-way test, but at 11:55, and you don't have any questions. Go out and make a difference. And by the way, call me. I'm happy to come down, visit with you, talk with you. Call me.
Everybody sign up?